Welcome back to another video. So I have this big bin of new clean beauty launches, some relaunches to try out with you. And I'm also going to be recreating the viral reverse cat eye. You may have seen videos of people recreating this look, originally painted by Spencer, I believe, here on YouTube. I will link his channel below, but a bunch of new products. And I really wanted to try the reverse cat eye because I have not seen it on my eye shape yet. I have round eyes and they're they're closer together. So I don't have a lot of inner corner space to work with, and the trend kind of uses that inner corner space. So we'll see how that works out. Before we get started, if you're not already subscribed, I would love to have you, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you find it enjoyable at any point. I have two new primers from Jane Iredale. I'm not sure if these are completely new or if they were reformulated and repackaged, but I have a brightening face primer and I also have an illuminating glow face primer. Let's see, so the brightening one says that it's blurring and hydrating, and the illuminating one has a pearl glow to it. Maybe I'll use both. Let's start off with the brightening one. Texture is pretty basic looking, kind of just looks like a lotion. Oh, it's pretty thick. That feels really nice. Smells like oranges for sure. I actually love the texture of this. It almost reminds me of the Bite Beauty Hydrating Primer, where it is this lotion, but it has this more thick base to it. It feels really smoothing on the skin. It does smell like freshly squeezed orange juice, but I don't think it's an artificial fragrance. It seems like it might be an essential oil blend. If you don't like fragrances at all, definitely stay away from that. I thought I would note it. And then let's go in with the illuminating glow just to try both of them. And this one I could definitely tell has a bit of a sheen to it. Ooh, it's really pretty golden. And we'll put this on the high points of my face. Both of these textures I think are working beautifully. Nothing's pilling. Just a really nice texture to put makeup on top of. That did give a glow, but nothing too crazy. It's actually very, very subtle. Almost more subtle than the Stay Super Glowy Gel. It kind of just gives you a natural luminance with no type of visible sparkle or shimmer, which I love, especially for textured skin. So I have high hopes for those. Those worked out pretty well. For foundation, I don't have anything new, but I do have an old sort of classic product. If you watch my channel when I raved about this foundation, thank you for being with me for this amount of time. You may have guessed that it's the Pacifica Alight Clean Foundation. Now, I reviewed these when they first came out years ago and was obsessed with this formula for the longest time. I've moved on to other things, but I really wanted to try these again because I remember it being so full coverage and beautiful. So I'm actually gonna mix two shades. I have the shade 40 Neutral Fair, and then I also have 34 Neutral Light. This one might be a little bit light, so I think I'm just gonna add a tad of this one in. If you've never seen this foundation, you do get a pump with it. So there's the shade, ignore my little blue swatch. And let's use my EcoTools sponge for this. Oh yeah, that is full coverage. The scent is so nostalgic. Fruity, but very light. I really like the scent of it, honestly. This foundation is so blendable. It really does not take a lot. It kind of is just one of those that melts into the skin. It doesn't dry down quickly either. That looks really good. I'm excited. I used to love this. There's the coverage difference. I think it looks so pretty. I definitely remember why I love this foundation. I think my con with this is it can feel a little bit heavy if you use too much product, and it does get, I believe, pretty dewy throughout the day. I don't know, I haven't worn this in such a long time, but it definitely delivers on the blendability, the easiness of application, and coverage for sure. I don't want to build anything up too much, so we're going to leave the foundation where it's at. Onto our concealer, I have a new product from Wander Beauty. These are their Duelist concealers. So there's a liquid concealer on one side, and then you twist it up and you get a, I believe, more full coverage cream concealer. Now I have three shades here. I'm guessing I'll be the lightest of the three, which is Fair Light. So I'm gonna use the liquid under my eyes. I haven't really tested these out too much. It might be a little bit dark. I'm gonna add in a dab of my Cover FX white concealer just because this shade is definitely too dark for me at the moment. I wonder if that's their lightest shade. I hope not, because it's really not that fair. Blending out really easily. I think that blended nicely, not the most full coverage. Let's try this little stick shade. This might be able to pull this off on my face. Let me swatch both of them for you. That'll be helpful. So here's the liquid, and then that's the cream. I do like how you get two formulas of the same shade. I think that's kind of helpful. So I'm gonna use this on my blemishes. And I'm blending that out with my Eco Tool sponge. So first impressions, these are pretty good. Nothing amazing at the moment, we'll have to see. I kind of wish I had a shade that matched me, but the creamy part blended really nicely, and so did the liquid one, and it's not like catching on dry patches or really creasing a ton yet. So we'll see about these. I feel like I still want a little more coverage under my eyes, so I'm gonna go in with my favorite Thrive Cosmetics concealer. This is the HD concealer, just right on the inner corners, especially since we're doing a lot of color on the bottom. I want to make sure we have a nice smooth blank surface to work with. And the usual, bouncing in that concealer with my sponge. You can really let this concealer sit on your face. It doesn't dry super quickly, just not too long. I feel like it does help build up the coverage. I'm not doing that at the moment, but I thought that was a nice tip. I just love this formula, it's so good. Before we set anything on the face, I want to do some bronzing. So I'm going to use this OG Hydrogenic Sculpted Face Stick in the shade Amber. These are just like little bronzer contour sticks. That's the shade right there. I believe I do have a code with OG. These are like really luxurious products, super creamy. They remind me of Westman Atelier, and the shade is beautiful. So I went ahead and swiped that on the places I want to contour, and I like to use my sponge because it has the leftover foundation, so it helps to blend out the product so nothing looks too unnatural or harsh on the skin, especially if you have fair skin like me. I feel like that's a really crucial step when you're working with bronzers, just anything that really shows up on your skin. Whenever I do a clean look, I feel like my skin always looks super like dewy and radiant because clean formulations usually use like a lot of oils or like plant butters and stuff like that. But love this formula. If you're new to contouring as well, I would really recommend a more sheer product like this that you can build up because it's really foolproof. Like you can see it gave me some warmth, but it doesn't look like I contoured. It's really sort of seamless and just foolproof, like I mentioned. Really hard to mess it up. To set my face, I have the new Well People powder. So Well People rebranded and they reformulated some things. So this is their Loose Super Powder Brightening Powder, and I also have their old one. I'm gonna do one on each eye in case you are curious how they compare. I don't notice a huge difference between the two, but I'll show you anyway. So this is the old one, which is called their Bio Brightener Invisible Powder. They're both in like this sheer sort of luminescent shade, but very, very subtle. So on the right eye, I'll do the new formula. If you've never used this powder, it's a very, very like thin, finely milled, like almost feels like an HD formula where it kind of just basically disappears into your skin. And with this type of formula, I like to be very sort of mindful of how I'm pressing it into the skin. If you use too much, it can accentuate dry patches. So I'm just focusing on pushing it into the skin in the areas where I get oily instead of just like, you know, going right in with a lot of product. So I do really love this powder formula. Super thin, beautiful, and smoothing. I don't find that it deepens my under eyes, and it does just have this like life to it that a lot of other powders don't have. And because it's thin, you don't run into the cakiness of, you know, having a thicker powder on top of your under eye concealer. Now for the old formula, thankfully I have like a little bit of it left. I'm gonna switch to a new brush and doing the exact same technique where I'm pushing it into the skin and being mindful of where I'm putting it. You know what I'm saying. So they look extremely similar to me. I honestly think I might enjoy the new formula better. It seems to be a little bit more smooth looking, which is beautiful. So if you did like this powder before, I would try the new one. I don't think that it has changed much. I feel like maybe it just has gotten a little bit better. So really excited about this powder because I like it. To set the rest of my face, I'm going to use a new launch from Thrive Cosmetics. This is the Filter Effects Soft Focus HD powder in the shade Light. These are very sheer. They don't have a ton of pigment to them. So I'm just going to press this into the rest of my face. I don't find this powder to be like extremely drying or mattifying. It's a really nice in-between type of formula. I almost wish I had a little bit more coverage to it, but it is a nice powder. I still have like darkness and blemishes showing through, but I honestly don't really care that much about that anymore. I'd rather have less cakey makeup and have some like imperfection showing through. Who says your base has to be like perfect to do more glam makeup anyway? You know, do what you want, and I'm feeling this. So moving on, I have a Jones Road Miracle Balm. I have a new shade, which is Magic Hour. I did break the seal. I remembered to do it. This is a very glowy, it smells so good too. One of my favorite things about Clean Beauty is like it's a sensory experience of all these like really nice natural scents. But anyway, this is a very glowy, like sheer bronzy type of product. I think I'm actually, no, we'll put it on now. This also came with a brush and I wanted to show you it comes in a paper packaging, which I feel like why doesn't every brand do this? Like I could really care less if it's in a like nice clear packaging. This is just so much better. And this brush looks so nice, very dense. So I'm gonna scoop a little bit of product out because I don't want to like directly dip in there yet. That was way too much. I actually have this other shade too, which is called Sun Kissed. Should we break into this? I think so. Take some pressure. Ooh, that looks so pretty. This is gonna make such a pretty bronzer. Okay, I just mixed those two shades. This one seems to be a little bit less shimmery. I know I did already set my face, but I feel like these go over fine on powder. So I just mixed a little bit of the product and I'm just going to build that up on my brush and we'll start stippling it in and see how that works. Oh, this brush is so dense. It's like I'm hitting my face with like a baseball. I feel like it's almost like pinkish. Or it's just picking up my foundation. I'm actually gonna use a sponge. I feel like it just is gonna work better. So I didn't really love this brush for putting this over powder. I think if you're doing it under powder, it would be a beautiful, really dense blending brush. I actually forgot I also have a powder bronzer to try, but we're gonna slap it on and see how that works out. This is from Well People, the Super Powder Bronzing Powder. So they did have this bronzer before. And do I have my old one to swatch? I believe I do. And here's the old packaging one. I do find that there's a difference between these shades. So this one is the older formula and this is the new one. As you can tell, the older formula has a lot more of like a red tone to it, which I don't find the most flattering on me. And this one's definitely more of like a warmer, neutral. It's brown. It's not sort of brown. It's bronze. Bronze shade bronzer. It's brown. Okay. This one has like more visible, like sort of shimmer particles through it, which I don't know if I love, but we'll see if it shows up on the face. So let's start bronzing up the forehead. Formula I find is very sheer. Oh, I did want to mention they went through the process of rebranding, but they still didn't add any new bronzer shades, which I feel like, why aren't you doing that? Well, people, like, you change your packaging and you can't add more shades to your line. That was definitely disappointing to me. I thought they would have more than just one bronzer shade by now. Besides that, it does look really pretty, and because it's a baked formula, it gives you a bit of glow too. But because this is so sheer, I really feel like it would only work on a fair skin tone, which sucks. I'm also stippling this over the Jones Road balm. So this is a nice formula, but it's a pass because there's only one shade of bronzer. Why? Don't know. For blush, I have a Wander Beauty Double Date Lip and Cheek Honeymoon shade duo. So you have a cream color up here and then just a clear balm with a mirror. I really like this packaging. So you can use this on your lips and your cheek and probably wherever you want. But I'm gonna go in with the tinted shade today. Very balmy, very pigmented cream blush formula. Like, look at that pigment. I love that, especially if I'm using it on my lips. I want a little more pigment. And then using my Luxie Small Contouring, my favorite cream blush brush, and stippling it on the shade so everything's even. And then stippling it on the backs of my cheeks. And apply it wherever you feel like blush looks best on you. This is definitely really pigmented, so I'm glad I did my technique, or else it could probably go south very easily. Just to help blend that out, I'm gonna go in with my sponge again. I feel like there's this misconception that you can't use creams over powders, but I really do find that a lot of cream formulas, when you use the correct technique, just look beautiful over powder. Just my preference. That looks really pretty. I like the amount of glow. It's not too much and very pigmented. So I think if you do have a deeper, medium, deeper skin tone, this would still show up on you because it is so pigmented. It's not just like a sheer wash of color. I don't have a new highlighter and we're gonna skip that anyway because I do already feel like the skin and cheeks are very glowy, so it's not totally necessary. I'm going to go ahead and do my brow pencil off camera, the Kosas Brow Pop. And then I have a new brow gel actually from Florence by Mills to try out. If you do want a brow tutorial, let me know because I feel like I've gotten into a really good routine with my brows. Like, I've moved away from being super precise with my brows and just going for like a naturally defined look. This is kind of random, but there's been this bird near my house that has built a nest on like one of our lights, the top of it, because it's warm, I'm guessing, and been like chilling. Why are my eyes watering? And anyway, she's been chilling in the nest for a while. And I think like just today or yesterday, there was a little baby chick in the nest. So yeah, that was kind of exciting. I'm glad that everything worked out. And there's a new little baby bird in the nest. All right, brows are done. I don't think most people realize this, but like makeup on camera, doing makeup on camera, doing makeup for camera is like very different than makeup in real life. But whenever I do makeup, I do it how I would if I was like doing it for real life, so you can actually see the techniques that look good, because a camera really does magic, basically toning everything down and putting everything together, especially for people who use like smoothing filters and everything. Their makeup in real life probably looks a lot different, but the techniques I use are 100% like what I do in real life for my makeup to still look natural. So yeah, that's that. Now my brows. So let's open up this Florence by Mills Tint and Tame Brow Gel. Have I ever tried anything from Florence by Mills? I don't think so. I think I have their lip oil, but that's it. Get this cute little brow gel. Oh my god. I was not expecting it to be that tiny. I don't know how I feel about that. This is just a clear one, by the way. I've been using my NYX brow glue, which is like a really strong hold. So I'm curious. I actually really like the tiny brush. It helps to grab all the little hairs. So far, it does seem like a very basic eyebrow gel though. A little bit more on the wet side of eyebrow gel for sure. We will see how this ends up holding throughout the video. I do like the effect of it though, and I like the tiny brush for really putting hairs in place. Let's move on to eyeshadows. I have two new launches. First are these Little Bare Minerals Mineralist eyeshadow palettes. They're so cute. They look like little books and they come in like cardboard paper packaging. So you get 6 shades in each of these, and there's 6 different colorways. I did mention these in my favorites. If you like more subdued natural makeup, these are really easy to work with and blendable. They're not super crazy pigmented, but I do like how they apply and how they wear. And then the other eyeshadow I have, which is what we're gonna start with today, is the Well People Power Palette in the taupe shade. This doesn't really look taupe to me. This looks bronze. But we're gonna use it anyway. As I mentioned, we're doing like the reverse cat eye, so we're not doing anything crazy on the top lid, just laying some transition shades. So I'm going to start with this brown. Hopefully it's not too dark. But these are really pigmented. I was kind of surprised when I first tried these. I don't know, I wasn't expecting them to be anything crazy. So I'm just using this as a transition, and I'm following it out to help start mapping the cat eye shape. Sometimes I'll even take the eyeshadow, if it's the right shade, and bring it a little bit down my nose as a slight nose contour. But I think we're actually gonna leave this, work on the bottom lash line, and we'll come back to finish up the eye. I did a little bit of tinted powder under my brows. I've been like baking on my brow bone for some reason. I don't really know, but I like how it looks and it's very brightening. So we'll let that sit. And onto our lower lash line cat eye vibe. I have a bunch of new eyeliners. So the majority of these from Bare Minerals, the same Mineralist collection. So you have a lot of pretty gem tones and some neutrals. There's like a pretty champagne, 2 different shades of blue, which I think we're gonna be using blue today. And I mentioned this like copper one in my favorites. They're really creamy gel formula. There's the 2 different shades. One is more of a bright sort of cobalt. It's an interesting word to say. And the other one is like, has this shimmer to it. We're definitely gonna stick with the more shimmery one. Yeah, I like the tone better. And then I have these other 2 new ones from Aracelli. These are vegan, cruelty-free perfecting gel liners, which I've been liking lately. They're super creamy. Here's the bronze in the olive shade, which I don't think we'll be using today, but I still wanted to give them a mention. So I've actually never tried the reverse cat eye. We're literally, no pun intended, winging it. But I'm gonna start with the Bare Minerals liner. The shade of this one is Aquamarine. So I'm gonna start by lining my inner waterline. I can't really talk while doing this, so I'll be back. The shade is so pretty. I hope this doesn't look weird on me. I really am hoping. Next, I'm taking the same color. I'm gonna start lining right below that and getting it mixed in with my lashes. I'm not gonna put a ton on the inner corner yet because I don't know how that's gonna look quite yet. I'm just gonna start building it. And now just using a tiny dome brush, a Luxie 217 pencil brush, I'm gonna start buffing that out and really blending it in. And then I'm going to, this looks so funny. This is just like 2000s eyeliner vibe right now. But I'm gonna start winging the outer corner out. just by following the natural shape of my eye. Starting light so we can build it up in case I make any mistakes. Now that the base of it is there, I'm going to duplicate this on the other eye so maybe it looks a little bit less crazy, and then I'll start building up the color more. I have never seen my eyes look like this. It's kind of hilarious. Okay, keep it together. So here's the part I think I'm gonna have the most trouble with, because you extend it on the inner corner and I don't have a lot of room in there and my eyes are very round. It's kind of hard to get like a good looking line. So we're gonna attempt it. I hope that it turns out well, I really do. Taking the smallest little liner brush I own, I'm gonna be picking up a little bit of the liner on the brush. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. So I think I kind of achieved something there. Again, with my eye shape, it's so hard to get that line to be straight. It kind of works. Let's do the other eye. I honestly think that's the best this is going to get, so we're gonna leave it there. Next, I'm gonna dip into the Mineralist eyeshadow palette. This is the Stone Washed shade, which has these blue, pretty blue shades. I'm gonna take this sort of mid-tone blue and just start building up a little bit more depth. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not loving this, but it might be one of those looks that changes with lashes. So I think I'm gonna leave it how it is. I don't wanna like overwork it or anything, but I am going to use a color for my lid. This is the Rowan 52 palette. These are really creamy, reflective shadows, and I'm gonna put this on my lid, which will hopefully balance the eye a little bit. I have two new mascaras to try out. One from Well People, the Expressionist Voluminizing, which I have tried before. I'm not sure if they reformulated. And then the Hynt Beauty Flirt Mascara. So I think we'll just do one on each eye and try them both out. This is the packaging of the Hynt Beauty one. Feels really nice. It's like a metal tube. And here's the brush, pretty standard, but it does not pick up a ton of product, which is nice. Let's see how this turns out. Definitely more natural. It's lengthening, but not doing much else. So that's pretty, but it feels like it's not doing enough. So I'm gonna try the Well People one on the other eye. This one has like a much thicker brush, picks up a lot more product. So this one is more lengthening and separating. Now looking at the Hynt Beauty one, it is really doing nothing good for my lashes. I do like this formula. I love the voluminizing version of this mascara. I don't know if they still have that, but it's more dramatic than this one. I'm gonna do my top and bottom lashes just with the Well People one and then pop on lashes. I have these new Sister Nature lashes, which I already have pre-cut. These are, what style are these? Oh, these are Dawn, which are really wispy, which is my go-to type of lash. So I'll pop these on and hopefully the eye look will come together in the end. I still have hope for it. I'm back with lashes, which I feel like make the biggest difference. Like I kind of hated this until I had lashes on. And I also just blended out the blue a little bit further because the lashes sort of blended in with the line, which I like. It just makes it seem a little bit more cohesive. The blue is fun. It's definitely making my eyes look green instead of blue. But anyway, even if this didn't work out in the end, you know, we had fun. We tried new things. So I'm going ahead and lining my lips with my NYX Nude Beige Liner, which I love. And then I have some new lipsticks to show you. So I have 3 shades of the Well People Optimist lipsticks. Let's see what shades we have here. Starting on this side, we have Namaste. The middle one is Yeah, and then the one over here is Let It Go, which I honestly don't think any of these would go with this look. I will say the formula is very creamy, satin finish. I have tried these before, so we're not going to use those today because I want to complete this look, and I feel like a nude beige would be really pretty. And I know I use this lipstick all the time, but I just feel like the shade goes with everything. So I'm going to use Patrick Ta She's Independent, which is really pretty, muted nude beige, as I mentioned. Hopefully this will complete things. Now to top everything off, let's go ahead and use the Bite Beauty Yeser Plumping Lip Gloss in the shade Sugar Drizzle, which is a clear with some gold reflect. That was way too much lip gloss. So I mean, here's our final look. It's kind of a vibe now. I didn't like it in the beginning, but you know, what a fun makeup journey to go through. If you didn't see any tutorials on a round eye shape and you needed to see one, I hope you found this video helpful. My tips would be to like start very small in the inner corner, especially if your eyes are more close together like mine are and you don't have a lot of space to work with. But I had a lot of fun trying out all of these new products. There were some that I really enjoyed and others I feel like you can pass on. I would say that the Bare Minerals eyeshadows are really nice. I know I didn't use a ton of them. The mascaras, both of them I tried, didn't like that. Lashes I love. Base looks good. Yeah, I would say that under eye concealer is not my favorite just because of the coverage, but everything else is looking really pretty. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you had fun watching this as much as I had filming it. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more chaotic makeup tutorials like this. And don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you enjoy it. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Wait, before you go, I would love to know in the comments below how you think this turned out. Do you like this trend or are you not feeling it? I'm still a little bit undecided. But let me know your thoughts below. I'd love to hear from you and I'll see ya. Bye.